great to see everyone here. Just really brief about my background. I've always been an entrepreneur, been a little crazy that way, and I started my first business out of the kitchen of my parents' house called Classic Cooking. ShopRite was actually my first supermarket customer, so it's really a thrill to be here talking to all of you. And I also co-founded a brand called Garden Lights, which I grew, and I'm going to start talking to you about some trends overall in the industry. I exited out of that business in 2015 to co-found Farmer's Pantry, which I'm really thrilled to be talking to you about today. But before that, I just want to talk to you about overall trends within the snacking food space, and then specifically within snacks and how we fit into that. And so the big thing is, and you're hearing it all over the place, consumer trends, macro trends in the US creating major shifts in consumer behavior. It's like everyone's saying everything's changing. It's like you feel like it's like the theme song for Darth Vader's coming every time you hear about change. And you can come about it that way, or you can come about it with an incredible amount of excitement because there's enormous opportunity within all of this change that's going on. And I think ShopRite is doing a great job at being at the forefront of that. And so one of the big trends is that consumers are increasingly looking for more wholesome foods. All right, everyone kind of like, before you buy something, you're doing this. You're looking at the back of the package, you look at the ingredients, and so there's some great data points that 88% of consumers will actually pay more for something that they perceive as better for them. Now, there's a wide range of what someone thinks is better. The whole diet trend, and you see where the whole Weight Watchers thing is going, is kind of out, and there's a different perception of what's better for them. But that's number one. Number two is local. You had it on Will had it on his presentation. Everyone's about buying local. Well, that's a really big thing, and something when we looked at when we started our company was more and more people are looking for things that are made as locally to them as possible, but certainly made in America. It's really resonating with consumers. And 88% of consumers stated they're willing to pay more for made in the USA. And this statistic goes across all demographics. Another trend is that people are really rewarding brands that give back. And there's an important part of this, and it goes towards a couple of things going on about authenticity. So, just that, some big monolithic corporation just says, oh, we just gave something to a charity. That's not what we're talking about here. And I put two companies up in the slide, which I love. One is Tom's, buy one, give one, and Warby Parker took that same note. I'm wearing a pair of Warby Parkers. I love them. They're fantastic in a lot of different ways. But consumers want authenticity in terms of a brand, that it's really baked into what you are and who you are and how you give back and how you're about more than just how much more can I sell. And the last piece as it pertains really to snacks is, and these are some really crazy numbers, and it's what got me into the snack food business outside of the frozen natural business, because this is nuts, and it's continuing. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this part. 91% of consumers are snacking more than once a day. And I didn't get into it here because I don't have the time, but what a consumer constitutes as a snack is varying. We're not talking about a bag of potato chips, and we're not talking about some nuts. A snack can be a yogurt, it can be an apple, it could be, for people here in the Appy department, it could be a smaller wrap. There's an enormous amount of opportunity that you have throughout every section in your store to create what the consumer is looking at as snacks. In Garden Lights, we did it like where we're looking at mini meals, or like our little veggie soufflés, or the veggie muffins, or the superfood veggie cakes. So there's a lot of different ways throughout the store where you could be taking advantage of this major shift. And it's a major shift because now 50% of all eating occasions are snacking occasions. That means half of the time that people are eating, they're not sitting down to dinner. They're not sitting down to lunch. They are what they are perceiving as snacking. And 36% of the time, a consumer is replacing what they consider as a meal with a snack. So and that we see is just continually accelerating. We all know we're running around, we're busy. We'll talked about it early about the smartphone and how that's completely changed the way that we behave, and no one has any more time, and that is completely echoing in the food and how we eat our food. And 8% of consumers, they consider that all they're eating are snacks, that they're not eating any more traditional meals, and more consumers are actually eating alone. So when you're eating a snack and you're eating a smaller meal, you're not sitting with a whole bunch of people. So it's completely different behavior than when you're sitting around a family table or with a bunch of people eating. Next is understanding, how a snack fulfills particular needs. So this is a really big one, and the last presenter talked about it. We're not talking about a widget, and we're not talking about something else. We're still talking about food. So people actually want to enjoy what they're eating. If they buy something and it hits a couple of their benchmarks of something that they're looking for, and they taste it and they want to throw it out the window, they're not going to be repurchasing that very often, maybe once or twice. So at the end of the day, consumers want to treat themselves. They're going after what is fulfilling themselves, not just from a health perspective, but really at the end of the day, it's about enjoyment and it's about fulfillment. The time of the day makes a very big difference in terms of the way people eat. I kind of look at it like my first day at school, we all had that shiny little notebook that was all clean and crisp and all our little stuff. And by the 10th day, I'm sitting there doodling on everything, and I got my little whatever, I won't go into the things I used to do to my notebook, but by second day of class, it was all over for me. And that's kind of the way we eat, right? At the beginning of the day, it's like, I'm going to be really healthy. And so the beginning part of the day, you're looking for the healthier sort of stuff. In the middle sort of the day, you're starting to get hungrier. And by, 3 o'clock, you're just looking to stop those hunger pains. You're most probably juicing up on some more caffeine to get you through the rest of the part of the day. And by night, after dinner, it's all about indulgent. You're passing out on the couch and you wake up from a food coma with the empty, thing of ice cream and a bunch of packages of snacks sitting around. But it's very important from a day part perspective how people are looking for food. And one of the things we look for as a brand, and as we continue as a brand, and for manufacturers or retailers, is that it's important to build a portfolio where it's not just about one need state. So the idea here is, and there's enormous opportunity for incremental sales by thinking about what you offer in need states. So if you're all just dealing with the morning time health need state, and there's nothing there for the fill me up need state of that 3 o'clock timing, okay, or that healthy, that more indulgent nighttime, then you're missing out. And what you're going to do is cannibalize your sales as opposed to provide incremental sales. And there's a really important, thoughtful strategy to that when you're building a snack or any food portfolio. Lastly, and this is where the major opportunity is, and where we see for us, and I'll get into Farmers Pantry and what we're proud of what we're doing here, is that this was from a Hartman study on the future of snacking. As snacks maintain their prominence, the future of snacking will continue to involve an interplay with meals as we know them, and the blurring boundary between meals and snacks accelerate, creating more and more undefined eating occasions. So with that, Farmers Pantry, which we're really proud about what we're doing. It's all about Farmers Pantry, feed your hunger. And the way we define that is in a couple of different ways. And so what Farmers Pantry is, and this was not as easy as we thought it was to do, everything that is made from Farmers Pantry comes from a U.S. farm. And you'd think that would be easy, and it's not. And so we're very, very proud of that. We source everything that is raised or grown on a U.S. farm. There's a lot of data points I want to put up here, but one that is a oh my God sort of moment. We actually lose over 300 family farmers a week in this country. They're leaving their land for good. They're selling it to developers. And there's a lot of different reasons, and we really looked into this strongly about why family farming is very, very important for this country. It's actually the backbone of who we are, where we started as a country. And so we decided that we're going to promote and work with the future farmers of America to really help the next generation of farmers, which is not an easy job to do, to get onto the land so we can stop that outward flow of family farming. We're also making very, very unique, distinctive, hearty snacks. And with that, I'll go right to our Farmers Pantry, and we call them meal snacks. And what they are, and we're very proud of this innovation, we took it seriously, all those data points I talked to you about how people are replacing meals with snacks. So we created a meal experience in a snackable form. And so there's this very big trend in terms of beef jerky that's come out and all the protein associated with it. So what we did was we created a blend of beef jerky or chicken or pork, bacon, and with a crunchy side dish. And in that process, there was a lot of issues with moisture migration, so we created a very, very innovative package, and I'll show you it on a stage through this page. What we've done is we've created a package that has an easy peel film that goes straight down the middle of the package that keeps the two sides separate. When you open up, tear away the side of the package, you see the two pouches where you have, this one is our steak and our fries. So you've got the steak jerky on one side, the French fried snack on the other. When you can eat it separately like that, or when you want to, you peel it down the middle, the two sides combine, and you have literally steak and fries. And so what we're proud about here is, besides the fact that we're sourcing everything from the US, we're providing this meal solution. One of the big things was coming up with foods that you know and love, like steak and fries, chicken and waffles, and bacon and cornbread crisp. Another delicious, unique snack is another one of our other line, and we welcome you, obviously, try it after we speak. But the idea here is that when you're running around, we feel there's a great place for a lot of different products and a lot of different things out there in the portfolio. But when you're hungry and you sit down to a meal, there are other people, let's say, mixing things with it. When you sit down with a steak, the last thing you're saying is, I want a Hershey bar and a couple of pistachios, when you're eating. You want French fries. You want to have those great meal experiences, I like to call it the mental real estate, that you know and love, and we're presenting in this new, innovative, portable form. What's exciting for us is, given that we have a patent on the process by which we make this, it's not easy. It took us a couple of years to do. We see a lot of different flavor combinations, texture combinations, and actually, this came as a surprise to us. We didn't even see it. IRI, in their, one of our brokers just called us up and sent us this, like, oh my God, I was just on a webinar and you guys were on it, where they gave us a nice shout out about that, we're innovative in a way they called it a snacking kit with taste and texture. So you got the jerky and then the crunchy of the different parts. So we're very, very proud of that. We're just getting started. We've actually just launched it. We're going to be in your stores shortly, and this isn't a big commercial on Farmer's Pantry, but I welcome you to come by the booth like in 13, 14 to see that and obviously see all the great things going on. And I actually remember Daya back in, I was in San Diego, whenever when you're just coming out with the pizza, it happens to be a great product. And obviously also try our cornbread crisps. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.